What is up, you guys? I'm here at home ready to do my weekly meal prep. And I want to share with you some of the techniques that I use to meal prep for essentially an entire week, or at least 5 full days with minimal time. This is something I hear from friends, clients, anyone, that I don't have time to meal prep, I don't have time to cook. And the reality is actually doing your meal prep, cooking your food is actually going to save you a lot of time. I can pretty much meal prep for my entire week, at least the work week, in typically less than like 1 hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours tops. Think about it this way. If you're in an office, you're going out to lunch, you're going out to dinner, those trips are taking you 30 minutes minimum. By the time you drive there, you order your food, you get your food, and then you go back to work. So literally the time that you are putting into your food prep is gonna give you time back during the week. It's also gonna give you money back. So there's really no reason not to do it. So again, I'm gonna be sharing all my hacks, all my secrets that I've learned for years as a competitor, but even before that, someone who's just very fitness minded and who is busy. So I hope this is helpful. But before we jump into it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend, and let's jump right into the weekly meal prep.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I'm back with a vengeance, I show you the ropes. Beast in my town, I can show you the coast. Up in the shots if they wanted to smoke. If you know, then you know. Suited up, my whole team do the same. Don't you forget who created the game. Ready for war, I was born with grenades. The trenches where soldiers are made.
So the way I'm gonna go about this today, I have all my groceries from Grocery Outlet. The best way to meal prep in a short amount of time is to multitask, you guys. Like, your kitchen should look like you're cooking for an army for just a very short period of time. So what I'm gonna do on my stovetop, I'm gonna be cooking ground beef and ground turkey at the same time. Very simple. I'm also gonna boil a pot of water and I'm gonna use that to cook my rice noodles, all at the same time, all right in front of me. Simultaneously, I'm gonna pop my salmon in the air fryer. I love to cook salmon and steak in the air fryer. I'll explain how to do that. So it's very easy. You just pop it in, season it how you want, and it's set and forget. Very simple. I also have some frozen veggies that I'm gonna pop in the microwave, and I usually like to do a light sprinkle of salt, and then I pop those in the fridge so those are ready to go with any of my meals. The last thing that I'll be doing as well is I will be setting up my rice cooker with my white rice. Again, that's set and forget. It's so easy, you just get it started and you forget about it until it's done. So these are, again, some really, really key hacks to getting all of this done in a short amount of time. The last thing is gonna be my yams. So what I will do is I'm gonna prep those while the stovetop food is cooking, just kind of cut them up. Usually I do like halves or small pieces, and then I roast them in the air fryer, but I'm gonna do the salmon first, and that will give me time to kind of prep the sweet potatoes, wash them, cut them up, and then when the salmon is all done, I will switch them out. So again, a lot of the stuff, you guys, it's so simple. You do not need to be a good cook. You just pick out some seasonings you like and you just go. It's very, very simple. So I will break down all the details, all my seasonings, hacks, etc. But let's just jump into it. And I promise, let's set the timer. So it's like a couple minutes shy of 5 o'clock. So let's see how long this takes me to get all this awesome, yummy meal prep done. And here I'm starting off with my ground turkey and my ground beef in the pan. So I'm putting each of them in there. And then I kind of like to season my food based on my mood. I will always use salt. In off season, I'm not really tracking my salt. I just kind of put it a little bit on everything. I also drink electrolytes in the morning when I get up. So I'm using the Flavor Gang Mustachio Spice and Smoke and Tex, and I'm just deciding here, I'm smelling them. I'm checking to see which one I wanna go with the turkey, which one I wanna go with the beef. So I'm putting the Mustachio Spice on the turkey and the Smoke and Tex on my ground beef. And the beef I'm using is grass-fed. The turkey is conventional, but depending on my budget and what we're doing, I try to go for organic or grass-fed meats as often as possible. Since we're doing a $100 challenge, I didn't really pay too much attention to that when I purchased these groceries. So I'm just kind of breaking up all the meat, making sure it's kind of in small pieces, can cook evenly. And then as those are cooking, I'm preparing my salmon. So I put a piece of foil down whenever I cook fish in the air fryer because it's flaky and it can kind of flake apart on you. And then I'm just gonna place my salmon on top of that piece of foil. And then I have a mixture of salt, pepper, garlic and some other spices that I actually mixed myself in a large spice container that I like to use. And then I put my salmon in about 375 for about 10 to 11 minutes. Meanwhile, as that gets started, I'm gonna prep my rice in my rice cooker. So I will use usually basmati rice because it's a lower glycemic index rice compared to jasmine or sushi rice. And I'm just doing a full mini rice cooker. I believe it makes over 6 cups of rice at once, and just getting that started. So what I'm doing, I'm checking the beef. I've got my pot of water boiling, and now I'm gonna microwave my frozen green beans. So this I will do 2 to 3 minutes at a time, kind of check it. And really the air fryer, the microwave, the rice cooker, these are all on autopilot. So I don't really have to do anything. And meanwhile, while all that's cooking, I'm gonna start my sweet potato prep. So, obviously I'm gonna wash them. I do not eat the skins of my sweet potato, as a heads up. So you'll see kind of how I'm prepping them. It's a slightly lazy way. And then periodically, obviously, I just need to check the ground beef, ground turkey, make sure it's all mixed up nice. Nothing is gonna overcook. So I'm just kind of checking periodically. And by that time, the green beans are done in the microwave. I'm gonna lightly add some salt. I like to add salt to all my food, not just because sodium is an essential mineral, but also it is gonna help your food stay fresher longer. And then I'm popping my rice noodles into the boiling water. And the package doesn't really specify time. It actually has prep directions where it wants you to soak it in hot water. So I'm just gonna boil them and just check them periodically. I usually cut my sweet potato wedges into larger pieces. And then when I eat my sweet potatoes, I just kind of gently peel the skin off of them. That's kind of how I do it. If I'm being more time intensive, I will maybe cube them or peel them first. But today we're going for time and speed and efficiency. So I'm not even bothering. And now that the salmon's done, sweet potatoes go in the air fryer. And now I start to prep the chicken breast. So I'm gonna cut the chicken breast into small, roughly about 1.5 inch, maybe 2-inch cubes. And I'm gonna marinate this with lemon juice, salt, pepper, maybe some oregano and dill if I wanted to have a little bit more of like a Greek chicken flavor. But I'm putting them in a large mixing bowl. Just kind of prepping that all. And this actually, I would cook at the same time, but I wanted this to marinate a little longer. So I'm actually gonna let this sit in my fridge overnight, and then I'm gonna put all the chicken in the air fryer tomorrow. So technically I'm not cooking the chicken today, but I could do that too with this meal prep if I wanted. I'm just not, because for the week I want the chicken to be a little tastier, a little more marinated. My rice noodles are done as well too. And now by this time, my turkey's done, my beef is done, so it's time to take the heat off of the stove, kind of set all that aside, put it in my meal prep containers for the week. So we've got those, and I'm just letting all my food kind of cool off before I put it in the fridge or before I put the lids on the Tupperwares. Sweet potatoes as well are nice and roasted, they're cooked through. And so now as I'm letting these last few things finish up, my extra batch of sweet potatoes, I'm gonna cut up my pineapple that I bought. Pineapples are not that intimidating, you guys, and they are actually pretty affordable if you just buy a whole one. So my method is I cut the top and bottom off, and the little hack for finding the ripest pineapple is the bottom needs to be yellow, not green. And if you buy one that's green, just let it ripen up. And then I cut the outsides off, just kind of shaving off a piece at a time. And then there is that core in the middle, so I cut it into fourths, cut out the middle part, and then create my small cubes. And that allows me to chop it up and prep it pretty quickly. And now we've got all of this lovely food done. All right, guys, the meal prep extravaganza is all done. It took me technically 48 minutes to prep all of this food, although the last 10 minutes I had the last batch of sweet potatoes in the air fryer, and during that time I did the dishes. So you guys, meal prep and dishes all done in 58 minutes. You cannot beat that. So what I made today, I made my ground beef, my ground turkey, salmon, sweet potatoes, rice noodles. I cut up some pineapple. I made my frozen green beans. The one thing I forgot to do that normally I don't forget is I forgot to turn on the rice cooker. So that's still going. So we've got that. The other thing I did not show you guys is typically I either will put my chicken in the oven to roast it, or what I also like to do too, sometimes I like to marinate it for a day in lemon juice or lime juice so it's nice and tender and juicy with that acid, and then I put it in the air fryer. So I want to have my chicken that way marinated, so I'm actually going to cook that later, but I easily could have slotted that into, you know, just popping it into the oven on a baking sheet or baking dish. So you guys, I hope this was helpful. I promise you, cooking, meal prepping, doing all of these things, it's not that hard. It does, you know, you get better with it over time and with practice and getting comfortable, you know, with your cutting skills and things like that, but it's really not that hard. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, if you have ideas, if you want to see me cook other things, drop that in the comments. But again, before we go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend, and I will catch you guys next time.